Hey everybody, it's Candy from Honey Girl Home Creations. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be working on a fall autumn wreath. So let's get started. I'll show you what we'll be working with first. So we're going to be working with an actual work wreath, which I don't do all that much, but this one I actually found last year at Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure I probably paid 80% off, something like that. So it's a dark brown one. It's nice, very nice. So we'll be working with that. Have two different meshes to be working with today. Both of them are 10-inch. I think we're going to do the ruffle method. So get these separated and show you. One is kind of a dark orange color with some foil in it, and the other one is kind of a natural khaki kind of color, but then it also is got a little bit of a texture and a pattern, you can see. So the two of those together I thought would be nice, would be pretty. Let's see, we have our sign. I've already prepared it with my with the pipe cleaners on the back. So here we go. This is from the Dollar Tree. I think I probably bought it last year, maybe the year before actually. It says thankful and blessed. It's a pumpkin. There's a little metal leaf attached. And then, of course, our ribbons. So we've got 4 different ribbons. Going to do ribbon tails with today. So we've got these two. One is a natural with a polka dot, and then a solid green, kind of a little bit darker green. So we're going to match those together. And then we also have this solid kind of dark orange, and then this pretty one. This one is a 1.5 inch natural with white pumpkins on it. So I'll put those together. I think those will be pretty. All right, and then so we'll be using those. Those are ribbon tails. Those are cut at 12 inches, by the way. And we can talk more about that too. And I'll use those same ribbons in the bow, and then I also have this really pretty one. This is between 3.5 and 4 inches. I'm going to use this in the bow. It's a natural color background with pumpkins and corn and kind of wheat. Really pretty. I thought that would be really nice. And believe it or not, I think I bought this at Aldi. I think I found it after the season last year, so I thought that would be really pretty to use. We'll just put that in our bow for a little bit of drama. So okay, let's get started. Let me cut my tag off. I've already prepared my work wreath. I've already pulled the ties out and everything, and so I've got that ready to go. I'm going to move the camera down so you can see. Alright, here we go. Let's move this up a little bit, maybe like that. So this wire form comes in at 16 inches. So this is a 16-inch work wreath. Let's see. I did not go over the tools I used, but by now you probably know if you've watched any videos. I did use my mat, which is a self-healing mat. It measures 24 inches by 36 inches. It is so handy. It is wonderful. If you do any kind of cutting or anything like that, it is just almost invaluable. And I also have a rotary cutter. The blade locks out, and then when you're done, as the safety, you release it and bring it back. So I use that to cut my mesh. Of course, I've got scissors. I have got some pliers. I've got cutters, which are really, really handy. These are my new ones that my sweetheart got for me, and they are great. I love them. They're a little bit heavy duty. They feel really good in your hand. Okay, so let's get started. I think I'm going to what I decided to do. So let's talk a little bit about this work wreath before I get going. It is important to always count your ties before you get started. You can't assume there's going to be a certain amount. Sometimes you have 8 on the inside, 10 on the outside. You just never know. This one particular one on the inside has 7 ties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7. And then on the outside it has 8. So 15 total. So I kind of had to rework my design just a little bit, but I kind of like where I'm going with it, so it's going to be fine, I think. So for this one, since there are more on the outside, we're going to do the orange on the outside, or I guess the burnt burnt orange, whatever you want to call it. We're going to do that on the outside, and we're going to do the natural burlap kind of color on the inside. So that's where we're going with that. I'm going to do the inside ones first, I think. The inside being the upper level. This is a little bit of a raised form, as you can see. It's not flat, which means your wreath will stand up taller, so that's always nice. All right, let's get started. I'm just going to do the ruffle technique. I do have my mesh cut at 25 inches. I'm just going to run it right up the middle and ruffle it up. Sometimes I lay something heavy on the end, like these pliers, because that helps it stretch out and helps it ruffle a little bit better. So, okay, this was on the inside. I have to think to myself, which one am I doing? So this work wreath, these are kind of like pipe cleaners on here, but they're just a little bit stiffer, a little bit thicker, which is always nice. So, you know what? I think I'm going to change. I am going to do the outer one first, I think. I think I'll do the outer mesh first, since I've got those opened up and ready to go. So, just a slight change. That happens, you know. Change your mind, just like we're doing anything. Just run it right up the middle. Sometimes if you bring it back to you like this, it kind of helps it straighten out as well. This is some nice mesh. It's not, it's definitely not basic mesh. I guess it's maybe not premium, but it's definitely not basic, so it's going to be nice. So just fluff that up. See how pretty that looks? A little bit of a darker orange. I think that's going to be nice against that khaki. And my thought with putting the orange on the outside and the khaki on the inside is to give a little bit of contrast for the pumpkin when we get it on there. So, all right. These done. So you always want to try to stay in the middle of the mesh, and I will tell you sometimes I get out of whack a little bit with that, but just try to stay there. And as you put your ruffle in, I always bring it around, kind of like a flower. It ends up looking a little bit like a flower. I tuck the ends under each other, and then I fluff it up against the one beside of it. You'll really be able to see that better as we go, as we get a little bit further along. I'm going to put those the natural mesh pieces that I cut, and put them on the floor back there just to get them out of the way for now. I'm just going to tie those a couple times because we'll be coming back with our ribbons in just a little bit. And probably, I should probably go ahead and put the ribbons in now, but you know, I'm not always that organized. So I'm going to move this over so that you can see better as I'm ruffling. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I appreciate you being here. If you would, I would love it if you would like my video and share it on your social media. And then also, if you would hit that little subscribe button down there, and then you can hit the bell icon to be notified. Then YouTube will let you know every time I have a new video up, and I would greatly appreciate that. Couldn't do this without you all being there, so I would appreciate you doing that. I'd love to spend this time with you. If you would take a couple minutes down in the comments and let me know where you are. Where are you like watching from? I'm in Tennessee, and it is super duper hot here. It's kind of funny to be already thinking about fall and autumn and making, you know, wreaths for that. But that's what you got to do. I mean, if you're doing this as a business or you're trying to sell your products, then you probably know by now you need to be probably 3 to 4 months ahead of whatever the season is. So even though it is in the upper 90s here, we're already starting to do some work for fall and autumn and the cooler temperatures, which is kind of nice. It's definitely a it's definitely a change, you know, to get in that mindset when it is so hot here, and summer is Summer is upon us full time, and it will be here for another couple months anyway. August and September are always super hot months for us, but we kind of have to change our mindset if you're a seller, because people are already starting to look for autumn and fall and that kind of stuff. So you got to be ready for that. Of course, if you're making for yourself, you don't have to worry so much about that. But you might want to get a head start and start making for your own home, for your friends, for your family, all that stuff too. So I was in Hobby Lobby. I ran in there just really quickly this week, one day, just to see how much discount they had on their 4th of July materials, which was just at 66%, so I ended up not buying anything. They didn't have a whole lot. I was just going to get a couple of signs or something, but anyway, when I was in there, I mean, they are just going full bore fall and autumn. They had plenty of stuff on the shelves, but then I saw totes and boxes and containers in the aisles that they were still putting more out, and I did not, just tell you, I did not even venture down on those aisles. Not yet. I was not ready for it. But I will go there probably before long and, you know, see what they've got. And I will tell you, and I could hardly believe it, they already had some Christmas stuff out. And I did venture down the one aisle that had the ribbon on it just to look, but of course nothing's on sale yet, and I did not end up buying anything. But oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. It's just every year it seems like it gets worse and worse. Alright, so here's what we have so far. We've got that pretty all the way around the outside, that pretty dark orange. And now we're going to go back to the inside here. I've got these on the floor, pick these up. Same process we're following for every one of them. Remember, I've got these cut at 25 inches. You can cut them a little shorter or a little longer depending on. Let's see, tie those a couple times because I'm going to be coming back with ribbon and such in just a little bit, so there's no need to tie it off all the way. I'm going to go ahead and spread out my mesh, fluff it up against the one beside of it. I have a feeling, based on what this looks like, we're going to end up having to do something else here. I don't think this mesh is going to cover like I want it to. I'll tell you, I had in mind originally that I was going to make this on a Dollar Tree frame, but when I went to pull one out, I didn't have one the size that I wanted, the 14 inch. So I had to kind of drop back and figure out another plan for that. So that's what we're going with, and we're going to figure it out. Not sure what I'll do just yet, but I'll see. By the time we get ribbon and a bow and the sign on here, it will not be, it won't look so bare, I promise. I always start out thinking, oh, that's never going to cover, but most of the time, miraculously, it does. So, and if not, then you just change your plan and add to it, and, you know, go back and do whatever you need to. There's so much you can do with a wreath like this. This one's going to turn out to be pretty good, pretty big. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be about between 25 and 26 inches. So when you start with a 16-inch frame like this, it can definitely get up there. Got some strings. I'm going to need to trim those. Anytime you're working with mesh, you know it's going to fray at least some. So just be prepared for that. Don't be surprised by it, and just go with it. Just trim off the strings as you see them. Don't get discouraged. It'll be okay. Like I said, by the time we get all of our embellishments in here and the sign and everything, it's going to be beautiful. Beautiful. I think we've just got maybe 3 more. Is that right? Yep, that's about right. Okay, and then we'll figure out where we're going to go from there. What's everybody doing today? I'd love it if you would comment and let me know what you're working on. Are you making wreaths? Are you crafting today? What do you do? You know, let me know kind of what if you craft, what do you do? Do you paint? Do you make wreaths? Do you do floral arrangements? Do you sew? What do you do? Just kind of let everybody learn a little bit about you. I would love that. And so would everybody else. We kind of get to know each other a little bit. That's how we kind of build a community, right? I will tell you, this wreath will be in my Etsy shop soon. I'm not sure if I'll get it up there today. Actually, by the time you see this video, it should already be in there. So go look for it if you're interested in maybe purchasing it. I would greatly appreciate that. That helps my business grow. You help my business grow. Without you, there is no business. So I appreciate any love you want to pass my way like that. Would be great. All right, last ruffle on the top here. And then we'll kind of see what we've got. So with this one, you know, you want to spread your mesh out, get your flower around there, and fluff it up against the one beside it and above it, and actually below it, I should say, since we're on the top. Let's get everybody fluffed up there so you can see us. Very pretty. So what do you think so far? It's going to be a big wreath, I'm telling you. Really big. Alright, so let's see. We've got our ribbons. We'll put those on. And we've got our sign. I'm kind of thinking I might put the sign in the middle. And then we'll make a bow. Maybe bring it down here some and put a bow up here. And I think we might need a little bit more something out here. So excuse me just a second. Let me go look at my other mesh and see what I've got over here. You know what? I've got this jute. Maybe we'll use this. Maybe I'll do some curls with it. Let's try that and see. Let's just design on the fly. It's kind of what you have to do sometimes, right? So, it's been a little while since I've used this. You can tell by how frayed it is. I'm going to start with a clean edge there. Well, let's see. If I cut this at about 10 inches, let's give that a try and see what we think. So, I'm going to try curls. Just roll them up. Put that in my finger. Hang like that. So this is some pretty mesh. You can see it's kind of natural. On one end it's got kind of burnt orange, and on the other end it's got a dark green. So if we put that together and kind of alternate those like that, let's see what we think. I'm thinking more in the outside because the inside's going to be covered up more. So let's see. What do you think? I like it. Alright, we're going to go with it. I'm going to cut some and then we will get busy rolling. I said we're going to cut them at 10 inches. This is where this roller comes in so handy. I think I need to flip this over. It is better if it rolls out like that. There we go. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I'm going to pull out my bow dabber. I'll roll some of these up and stick them in there. Bow dabber, you know, can be used for so much more than just bows. It's great. It's like another set of hands sometimes. Especially if your hands hurt, it can be kind of like a lifesaver. Because mine do from time to time, and they will, you know, when you use them, as you use your hands, they will hurt a little bit sometimes after you've been working for a little while. All right, let's see. Let's pull our wreath back over here. Get some of these in. Okay, make sure that, you know what, while I'm at it, I need to go ahead and do my ribbons. So I cut these so that I got to remind myself. I'm going to do one pair on the inside and one pair on the outside. And I don't remember which one I did which. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, this is going on out here. So I might as well do this at the same time that I'm doing that, and then I can finish off that tie and I don't have to come back. So let's fold it in half, crumple it up. There we go. And just put that in right on top of those curls. And then we can finish it off. So 2 or 3 good turns. Very good. I'm going to take my clippers and then I'll just tuck that in. And then we just pull out our ribbon. So pretty. I like it. There we go. And you can pull the curls as well. Fluff those up. Oh yeah, that's going to be some nice color. I like that. Okay, good. So let's move on to our next one. Same thing. I'm going to grab a couple of these. I'll put them down in my bow dabber. Lay them down. Do a quick twist, temporary. Fold that in half. Pinch it together in the middle. I'm going to unfold that little temporary twist I did there. And then I'm going to do it tight. Like I said, 2 or 3 or 4 good twists. And then, oh my goodness, I'm so excited with these wire cutters. They are so much better than the other ones I was using. And then we'll spread our ribbon. And you'll come back, you know, spread your curls. You come back and work on it. I know I always do. And piece it and that kind of stuff, and that's just normal. So, all right, ready for our next one? Next pair of curls. Let's lay those down. And like I said, it's mesh. It's gonna fray. So just come back, and you can take care of that a little bit later. You always need to do a final kind of inspection anyway, so that can be part of that. Okay. Pay attention to how your ribbons go in. If you have one that's got any kind of a pattern or any kind of things on them, like this one does with these pumpkins, always make sure you're putting them in the right way. So when you pull it out, they're not upside down. Pretty, pretty. I like that. All right, let's see. I knocked something over. Those ribbons, they need to go over there. All right, let's cut some more. What do I need? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 more, right? All right, move that there. So 10 inches. Oops. As a reminder, I'm going to do 10 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. tell you what, this fan is sending these everywhere, but I can't be without a fan. It's too hot, so I'll put them back here behind me on the floor. So that was 6, right? 7, 8, 9, and I should just need one more. 10. All right, we'll give that a try and see. So the mesh actually helps you as it gets closer to the end of the roll if you're doing curls. It actually kind of wants to curl itself, so it's always good. So remember, just loosely, just let it do its thing the way it wants to curl, and you just loosely guide it. You're going to pinch it in the middle. And as I said, I'm using my bow dabber. I'm alternating these in the direction because I want one curl, you know, to have the orange on this end, and the other one to have the orange on the other end. So that's the way I'm putting them in my bow dabber. Every little bit, anything like that you can do, it helps. Okay, I think that might be all I can get in the bow dabber at once. It's kind of thick. It's nice mesh, so I'm going to take these two, moving right around on the bottom. Do that one little temporary twist there. Fold our ribbons in half, pinch them in the middle, and do that little twist and put the ribbon down on top of the curls. This is very nice, and this is a good way, you know, you could use even a little bit more basic mesh when you're doing something like this. When you're putting embellishments on here, and by embellishments, that could be ribbon, it could be florals, it could be, you know, some kind of little ornaments or something. The more of those kind of things you put on, of course, the less premium mesh you have to have, so to speak, because it all builds it together, and it's all one big, comes out beautifully at the end. There's no need to spend a ton on premium mesh if you're just going to end up covering it up, or covering a lot of it up, you know, with ribbon and signs and that kind of thing anyway. So just choose kind of where to spend your money. All right, we're getting there. We have 3 more on the bottom. Good. Trim those off, but forgot to tuck them in sometimes. I tell y'all what, sometimes, especially toward the end of the day, I just think, ugh. Y'all ever have that? You just have some crazy days sometimes, especially these days, right? Yeah, got 3 of those left. All right, and I should have enough curls, I hope. Actually, I'm not sure that I do, so we'll see. I think I might need to cut a couple more. We'll see. Thought I had cut enough. I must have lost count. Either that or I lost one. Oh, not yet. I got them. I think I have cut enough. I'm going to see if I can manage to get all of these in the bow dabber this time, so that I don't have to keep moving stuff around. Thank y'all again for joining me today. I just want to remind you, if you wouldn't mind, to go down and hit that subscribe button, and then hit that little thumbs up if you like this video. And it would be awesome if you could share it on your social media. I would appreciate that so much. It just helps more than you know. All right, so we got that ready to go. Here we go. Let's get the bottom finished. All right, here's our next one. Look how pretty that's looking. Can y'all see that? I hope so. How pretty that is looking. With that little pop of green down there peeping out. Really nice. All right, so 2 curls. just like we've been doing. A little temporary twist there. Alright, so let's see, I'll remind you on the bottom of this one it had 8 ties. So when we get done with this, we'll have 8 on the bottom and 7 in the middle, so for a total of 15, which is a little bit odd. Usually, you know, it does even numbers, but not always, so sometimes you just got to roll with it. I like the even numbers because then I can alternate ribbon pairs and all that kind of stuff, but and it comes out, you know, in my mind it comes out evenly. That doesn't always work like that, so be prepared to adapt. That's what we do, right? We adapt. And sometimes we overcome. Sometimes we have to, so. Alright. Just about finished with the bottom. This is going pretty fast. Temporary little twist there. And that. Go. Put that down on top of those 2 curls. Some good final twists. Trim. Those ribbons and the curls kind of spread out so you can see them. We went to all this trouble with all this beautifulness. We want people to be able to see it, right? Alright, last one on the bottom. We are getting there. Over halfway, right? Good tight twist a few times. Just tuck that in. All right, now you can kind of see. That's what we've got so far. You can see that a little bit. This is going to be a big wreath. Yeah, now we're looking at 26 to 27 inches, so this dude's going to be big. Alright, so on the inside, I think we're going to be okay with just ribbons. I don't think we're going to need to worry about curls or anything in there, because I get those ribbons in there, and when I do, and I put that sign there, it's going to cover up a lot of it, or actually put it down here, and then we put a bow up here. It's going to cover up a lot of that, so I think we're going to be okay. So let's see. Let's get our ribbons down here and get going. So on this top, remember I chose the green and the natural kind of beige polka dot. The same thing up here that we did on the bottom. Spread our pretty ribbons. Oh, look how pretty that looks. And see, so this little green picks up the little green and those curls on the bottom. I like it. And then it's going to pick up some more in that pretty ribbon that we're using on the bow. The wide ribbon. So I am not undoing these ties. I am just laying the ribbon on top of it. I kind of want it to pop out. And it can make it sink down a little bit if you undo the tie and put it in there, and that's perfectly fine. It just all depends on what, you know, look you're going for. So in this case, I want it to stand up a little bit better. So, whoops, wrong way. There we go. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. So we had a little bit of a detour there. You know, we had to figure out what to do on the bottom. I didn't like the way the mesh was covering, but we recovered, and that's kind of what you got to do. So that's what I would do if you were here or not. You know, I do that, go through that same process. It's just now you're sharing it with me. But that's okay, because that's how, you know, how we learn. And I'm happy you're here. You can see that everything doesn't always go perfectly initially. And being creative and designing, it's kind of a fluid sort of motion anyway. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in my mind I have a design, and I think I know how something's going to look, and then when I get working on it and put some of the elements together, it does not look anything at all like that. So you just kind of back up and take a look at it and figure out what to do. This is a little bit more frayed over here than I like, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this while I'm over here. There we go. Just while I was in the neighborhood. So if something doesn't immediately turn out, you know, like you think it should or like you wanted it to, don't get discouraged. I mean, this is a voice of experience. I have done that, and I have been so discouraged and not liked how something looked. You know, if you have to, just leave it alone for a little bit. Set it aside and work on something else, and then come back to it. You'll be surprised sometimes how just a little distance or a little time, how it can change, you know, the way you see things. You may look at that same project in a day or two and say, oh, well, hey, how about if I do this or I do that? And just get totally different ideas, and then it ends up, you know, coming out looking great. So if you get discouraged, don't give up. Just go work on something else. Stick with it. You know, hang in there, and don't think that you're by yourself either, because you're most definitely not. I think we just got one more up here. And then we'll be ready for our sign, and then we will make our bow. I'm excited about this bow. I like this. I like this polka dot. I always like polka dot. For whatever reason, polka dot is always just so livens stuff up, and it's just so cute to me. Maybe it's the South. I don't know. Maybe they breed that into us down here in the South with the polka dots. I'm not sure. Polka dots and monograms, right? Okay, wonderful. So here's what we have so far. Back up a little bit so you can see it, maybe. All right, good. Okay, let's grab our sign. Let's see, do we want to put the sign down here? You think down here or up here? Do it over to the side and do a bow. Kind of liking it down here, I think. Let's try it down here. So I'm going to try to take this and run it through and around the mesh. Got my ties. I'm always, you know, you're trying to get down here to the frame, because that's what we attach to, just to make sure everything stays where it needs to. I don't want to disrupt too much. So I'm going to do that around here. You can see I've got it around the frame. I'm going to do just a couple twists. It's not going to be it's not permanent just yet. I think I do the same over here, and I don't tie it down tightly until I'm sure I've got it where I want it and the way I like it. So do the same thing over here. I'm just taking my other hand and fishing that down through the mesh or around it, whichever you need to. Sometimes you can come from the bottom and grab it and do the same thing. All right, let's see. Couple twists like I did, and then let's see what I need to do. Sometimes you have to fluff your mesh up and move it around and figure out what you want to do. Get those ribbons just a little bit. I'll come back and work on the ribbons again. I have not seen the last of me by any means. Fish them out from underneath there, make sure everything, I don't want anything to be hidden if we can help it. But all right. That's pretty good. I'm going to tighten these up a little bit. And then I'm just going to take them, I'm just going to wrap them around the frame. That's just a little bit extra insurance to make sure they're on there good. Not even clipping them off, I'm just wrapping that excess around the frame. And then if you're a customer, if you're selling these, or if you're doing it for yourself, if you decide you want to take it off and use something different, you've got plenty there. You can attach it to something else if you want to. All right, so here we are with the sign on there. It doesn't want to let me go. All right, there we go. So there we go with our sign. All right, so the last little bits, get our, clear some of this off. going on this big beautiful bow. So I'm going to get my bow dabber. I'm using 26 gauge floral wire, and I am unrolling about 26, 27 inches. More than I will need, but it's always good to have extra. Wire is inexpensive and you don't want to be caught with too short. So put it down in the bow dabber and tuck those ends under. Alright, so I'm going to start with this beautiful ribbon. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. Dovetail that end. So let's see. I'm going to make about a 9-inch tail. Put that down in the bow dabber and twist it. So since this ribbon, you know, has a good side and a bad side, we always want to make sure that the good side is what we see for our bow loops. So I'm going to make my loops about 6 inches for these. So the first one, you see how pretty that is? Oh, I love it, love it, love it. So I think I'm going to make 4 loops for this one. Just kind of smoothing it as I go. So pretty. Oh my goodness. I love it. Love ribbon. I know a lot of us do. And I am definitely one of those. So in the second one, you don't even have to measure unless you just want to. You can use your first loop to kind of go by with it. Totally up to you. Alright, that's 4 loops. I've got 2 on each side. Trim that off. Oh, pretty, pretty. Alright, let's see. What do we want next? I think next we'll go with this pretty polka dot. Same thing, till the end. Make my tail about 8 or 9 inches, just like before. I'm going to follow the very same process that we did for the first loops. Take those out about 6 inches. Twist, and you can use your other ones, you know, for measurement. I'm going to do, I think we'll do 4 of these as well. My table is squeaking. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. It's aggravating me. I'm going to have to get some oil out, I guess, for that. Alright. Tail her in. There's that one. This is going to be a big, beautiful bow. Next, we're going to do some of this pretty, pretty orange. The same tail for this one. I think I'm going to come in just a little bit for the loop. Just a little bit for the loop, I think. So maybe not quite 6 inches. Get in there. So when you're using this thick ribbon, sometimes it wants to come out. So I'm going to do about 5 to 5.5 inch loops for these, I think. I'm just going to do a couple. So we have a lot of orange in our wreath already. Just going to do a couple loops on this one. And then I will finish up with this pretty pumpkin ribbon, the 1.5 inch. So those 3, the first one was between 3.5 and 4 inch ribbon. And then the next 2 were 2.5 inch. So now we're going to finish up with the 1.5 inch. And I'm going to do these about, just like I did before, about 5, maybe 5 inches, something like that. Do 4 4 loops with it. Good. And then we'll finish off with our tail. Go ahead and dovetail this. I may end up trimming it a little bit. We'll see. All right. So now let's see what we can do with this guy. Oh my goodness. Whew. I'm gonna hold on tight for sure. All right, so let's bring up our wire. These are the cut ends. I'm gonna hold this down. Let's bring this other end, the loop. I'm gonna take my finger and open that loop, and then take the other 2 pieces of wire, run through it, gently start pulling up on it, pulling it up out of my bow dabber. I mean, this is, you can see, look how thick that is. It's normal for that to look like that, so don't be alarmed. Hang on to it, especially when you've got a lot of thick ribbon like this. This is all good, stiff ribbon. Get that back. Let's pinch that up there as best I can. All right, good. Get this tied tightly because it makes me nervous until I get it on there, so I can get it tied. Whew. I have dropped it before and it's not pretty. Let me just twist, twist, and twist to get it on there good and tight. Good, good, good. All right. I'm going to start fluffing some, and you will always fluff more once you get it on your wreath, but fluff a little bit in my hand, at least get it started, you know. And when you fluff it, you're just taking one loop going one way, other loop going the other way, and I am holding the wire at the back and a little bit of at the middle of the bow, not a whole lot, but a little bit, just for stability. Get those tails fluffed out, get those loops, get all this beautiful ribbon out here where we can see it. Shake it and twist it if you need to, whatever you need to do to break it loose there. And like I said, you'll do more of this once you get it on your wreath. Place it, you know, because you want to be able to see all the pretty ribbon. All right, that's pretty good for now. Let's bring our wreath back up here. First I'm dropping ribbon and grabbing and bringing it with me. I'm so clumsy, y'all. Okay, so let's see. I think we want it up here in the middle. Do we want it on the side? I kind of like in the middle. Something a little different. And then it'll come down over our thankful and blessed. All right, good. Flip this around. All right, so I've got my wire. And I'm going to try to feed it down through the mesh. It's a little easier to do it with this type of wire than it is with a chenille stem or a pipe cleaner, you know. And if you take it down through the mesh, then it won't mash it quite so bad. And it helps your bow sit up a little bit taller, because we went to a lot of trouble with this bow. We want to be able to see it. We want it to be sitting up proud, right? High and tight, so to speak. Okay, now I've got both pieces of that wire through there, and it is around the frame, so that's good. So let me do a little bit of placing of it, a little bit. Okay, hang it off the table here, so I don't want to smush my bow completely, and then just get it on there. Get some good twists on it. All right, I'm going to snip this off, but I'm still leaving some excess, and then I'm going to take that and twist it around the frame, just like I did with the wires that are attaching the sign on there. Just gives a little bit of extra stability. Let's give it the shake test. Oh, everything's on there. That's good. Now, let's see what we can do here with this pretty bow. I definitely want to be able to see this wide ribbon since we only used it in the bow. So I'm going to make sure that I can get it up here. Move some of these other ones behind it. I want to be able to see all our ribbon, but I want to give that one a little bit of extra love and attention because it is beautiful. It's a little bit more of a statement maker, you know. Just take your tails and move them to the back. Curl those under a little bit if you want to. They almost act like another loop of your bows, which is pretty cool. can anyway. All right, we're just about there. Just about. Where'd that tail go? There it is. Okay. And then lastly, and I will do this after we're done, make sure that you put, you know, one of your business cards or one of your signs or some kind of way for folks to contact you. Make sure you get that on there because, you know, you want to get your name out. If somebody sees your work and they love it, then you want them to know how they can get in touch with you so they can get some of their for themselves, right? So I have some cards, and I will attach and put it back here. Sometimes I glue one on the back of my sign. I didn't think to do that today. So anyway, let's see. Let's move this back up a little bit. Let's see. Let's stand back a little bit. See how pretty? I love it. I'm very happy. You know, we had a little bit of a couple minutes there where I wasn't so sure, and I was afraid we were going to get off track, but it ended up being okay. And I kind of like it a little bit better, I think so. It's just an example of the process of creation, I guess. So thank you all again. And once again, if you would, go subscribe to my channel. Give me the thumbs up that you like this video, and please share it with your friends. Put it on your social media. Let's get the word out there. This is Candy with Honey Girl Home Creations. Thanking you for spending your time with me. I do realize that there's a whole lot of other things that you could be doing, but you chose to spend some time with me, and I appreciate it very much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.